next few boards that we're going to perform on have, in many ways, the hardest conceptual, craziest conceptual side to explain. I'm going to do my best. And if you miss it, don't worry whatsoever. Most people do. So a frequency is essentially anything occurring or consistently in a set amount of time. So like the Earth's year, it rotates all the way around the sun one time every 365 days. So that's considered a frequency. Sound is another set of frequencies, essentially between 20 times per second up to 20,000 times per second. And what sound essentially is little bursts of air being blown at our ears. And this can happen from somebody's vocal cords, it can happen from a string, it can happen from a flute. But if you imagine one of these piano strings, when you pull it and let it go, you basically like spring it and let it go and it will start vibrating. And the way that it's tuned, it will vibrate at a particular frequency here. So there's one in here that's tuned 250 times per second, and another one that's tuned 62.5 times per second. And essentially what that is, when you spring and let go of that string, it starts moving 62.5 times per second and blows air at our ears. And our ears translates those little bursts of air into sound when it goes into our minds. And that's actually fairly simple. And what we end up doing is, if some people will talk about an octave, and essentially what an octave is, it's the same musical note. Yes, piano scarf.
Can you explain the scarf?
So we go.
What's your scarf sound like?
So essentially what I was going to explain is we have musical notes on the piano, and like they're named after letters, and this one here before the two black notes is C. If you go C, D, E, F, G, when we come all the way back up to here, the note before the two black notes, it's also a C. And that's considered an octave. And octaves in music we can use, replace each other. They sound really similar. If we're playing a piece that needs to be released on a particular note, we don't always have to play that note, but we could play the octave below or the octave above. And so musically, octaves function in a really similar way to us, and they give us a similar effect in our bodies. And two of these sets of boards have taken really, really slow frequencies and are playing octaves of it. And one of those is off of the orbits of the planets. So you take any one of the planets, and using Johann Kepler's calculations, we get one planet that goes around, we'll say the Earth because that's easiest, one time every 365 days. And if we make that frequency twice as fast, it's essentially an octave. On our piano, if you play a G note, it's 400 hertz. If you go to the G below, it's 200 hertz. If you go to the G note below that, it's 100 hertz. So it's just half that frequency or 2 times as fast. So we've taken the Earth year, and that's 365 days, and then we made it twice as fast, so half that time again, half that time again, and keep going twice as fast, twice as fast, twice as fast, until we get up to more than 20 times per second. And at that point, we can hear a musical equivalent of the octave. So we have one board in here tuned to the orbits of the planet, so it's like music of the spheres, another one tuned to frequencies from the Earth and the Moon, like the Earth year, the Earth day, lunar cycle. And we're gonna do a short little improvisation on this. The tuning also turns out to be like super random and crazy, and if you look at all the planets, you get 2 C sharps that are slightly off from each other, and 2 Ds that are slightly off from each other, and then all these other weird scales. And this one, I took those frequencies and tried to make them a little bit more musical, and so we're gonna see what we can do on it.